Thank you for stopping back in. My name is Jean. Today I'm going to show you a technique that I did many years ago. But once I discovered the Mod Podge technique, I do that most of the time. I rarely do this method anymore. And but we're going to show you. So what we're going to do is we're going to adhere napkins and some other materials to the freezer paper, just like I did with the Mod Podge. Okay, I already cut a piece out because it's kind of noisy. So any freezer paper you can find. This is just what, my grocery store had. I'm not sure if there's other brands out there by us. That's all I could find. Just cut out a little piece already because it was kind of loud to tear out of the box. And there's two sides to it. There's the shiny side and then there's the dull side. We're going to adhere to the shiny side. So we're going to start out with, we've got a napkin here that I'm going to use. Now I know this is a 3-ply napkin, and my easiest way to get these apart is putting some Scotch tape on. Because this one I found out was really quite stuck. And that's 1 ply. Then I just take this other corner there and just go for it the other side. I know this is a 3-ply one. Some of them are like hard to tell. I had to actually read because I didn't think it was a 3-ply. And it said 3-ply on the wrapper. So check your wrapper to make sure. It's definitely 3 plies. Okay, let's just cut a section. Normally I would do the whole napkin, but I want to make sure I stay in the picture for you guys. I want to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to just cut off a little section. Now this one has foiling on it. I picked one with a foil. So you can use anything. Oh, I got some other materials. Don't worry. So you can see there's like the foil. There's some foiling on it. And all you do is just put it on there. And fold that out there. And then you want to put some parchment paper on top. So that, because this is basically, this shiny side is basically like kind of like a glue. So when you heat it up, it acts like a glue. So you don't want that on the bottom of your iron. So I'm just going to put some parchment paper on top. And then any iron. I always use my little Cricut iron. My little Cricut iron I like to keep down in my craft area. You don't want to use a steamer. My full-size iron is a steamer. So it has the little holes on it. And I don't like to use that anyways because I don't want to leave like little divots in my projects I'm doing. So that's why I just use my little one. You can find lots of different irons on the market. Small ones too. I just like my flat smooth one for most projects when I'm crafting. Whatever iron you're using, put it on the high setting. And then all you're going to do is go over it just like we did after we Mod Podged. And I like to push down hard. Make sure I'm getting a good adhere. And then I just go over it, and then I go right around my edges again, because you want to make sure those edges are down. You'll know if it didn't stick. So then you can, once you pick it up, and I probably go over too much, but I want to make sure it's good and stuck. So now you can see it. Oh, it looks like part of the paper now. So now it's kind of like a piece of paper now. So you can use it different ways. So we're going to actually make a couple cards tonight, but I'll show you a couple different things too. That's that. And then I've got other materials. I am going to show you this one, and then I have the other ones already ironed. This is a table cover that I found at Dollar Tree, and it's basically made out of a plastic grocery bag material. So those plastic bags you get from the store. Let me just cut a chunk out and I can bring it up to you. And I'm going to show you that this will work too. Something as thin as this will work. Let's bring this up. And I got the other half of my parchment paper. Or freezer paper there. Parchment paper there. So you can see, you can probably almost see my hand through. It's very thin. It's just like those shopping bags that you get from the grocery store. Now this will work just as well. But now you want to make sure you have parchment paper in between. If you don't, you'll have a big old mess on the bottom of your iron, and you don't want that. And do the same thing. Just ironing. I can't even say ironing. Iron it on. Let's see. I did that rather quickly. But there, and now you have like, so it just makes it thicker. So some of the other ways I like to use this, we don't need this no more. Some of the other ways, there's other things you can do with it. I have some samples here. So this is just plain old wrapping paper. You see the little lines up there? Plain old wrapping paper. And I put it on the freezer paper. So it makes it a lot more sturdy. So you can use that for, like, you know, a card topper. We're going to do 2 cards. Here I have a piece of fabric. And this is how I used mine years ago, is how, on fabric. So it's just a cotton piece of cotton fabric. And I ironed that on the same way. And it's good for a good stabilizer too. What I mostly used it for back in the day. So you can do fabric. Okay, I got a piece of tissue paper here. Just a regular old tissue paper. And I put that on. You can see how much, and hear how much thicker it makes it then. And you can even write on this too, on the back. Now what I like to use it a lot for is my book pages. Because, you know, book pages are really thin. You iron it to the freezer paper, and it makes it a lot sturdier. Use it for that. Okay, so I might show you just how to make a pocket out of this. Also, that's how I like to use mine a lot. Is for my book pages and for when I'm making junk journals and stuff, because it makes it more sturdy. Because you could iron on a piece of paper on the back, but sometimes if you just iron this on, it's perfect. I like that. Okay, let's put that aside. I might show you how to make a pocket out of that. So what we're going to do is I have a couple of cards we're going to do. So I already have some bases. I have everything cut out already just to save some time, because this could, you know, get long once I'm, you know, talking. So I regular A2, but I want it to open up this way for this one. So an A2 is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That's our A2 size. Let me bring you in a little bit. So then I took some pinkish paper that kind of matches that napkin, and I brought that down to 5 1/4 by 4, or 3 3/4. 3 3/4. Yep, 3 3/4. I cut this one by 5. And I did that because I had to cut my napkins are only so big. Because I wanted to catch that whole pattern. And my napkin I end up cutting down to 3. It's about 3 5/8 by about 5. So let's make sure that's going to be good. Yep, got a good border around there. Okay. So just cut it down to whatever you want. The napkin came out like, this is the napkin, and I took this part. So your full-size napkin is about 5 7/8, about 5 7/8. But I wanted to cut it off more straight too. So just cut it down to the size you want for your card. That'd make a pretty pocket too. Maybe I'll do that instead. You can make both. So we're just going to adhere this one onto here. I know what we can do. We can make that into a pocket, and then we can glue it onto our book page. See, you know, this is what happens. My brain just goes off in different directions. Okay, and then we're just going to center it on here the best you can do. You don't have to be perfect. I'm not perfect at all. All right, put that down there. And then we're going to just put this one on top. And you can see, of course, like in my Mod Podge one, I'll link the video, but I Mod Podged right onto the paper, let it dry, and then I ironed a napkin onto this. So this way you've got like an extra layer. So I ironed onto the freezer wrap paper. It's almost the same technique. You decide which one you like better. Of course, you won't need freezer paper for the Mod Podge method. But I will link that so you guys could check that one out if you haven't seen it. That was one of my most popular videos. I think most of you have probably seen it. Okay. And it's still getting a ton of views. Almost every day. Isn't that a pretty card? I know who I'm giving that to. My girlfriend is going to be having surgery. I think I will save that for her. Let's see. Let's go get my stamp positioner out here. And a stamp. I just took a thinking, what is it? A thinking of you? Oh no, sending you a hug. I found in my little stash. And we're going to do that. And I think we're going to put it right up in this little spot here. Or down there. I think I'll leave it up on top here. Sure, hopefully I'm getting it straight. I don't want to put my head in the camera. Okay. I'm just going to pick it up. And I'm going to use what ink? Okay, I got the Seedless Preserves Distress ink is what I'm going to use on it. I kind of just pick out some colors in there. Let's see what I have, and this one looked like it matched about the best. I might have to do 2 coats, we'll see. Sometimes I do, but I don't think so. Do 1 more. It's not quite perfect. All right, I just said before, we don't need to do perfect, do we? No, we don't need to do perfect. Okay. All right, sending you a hug. And the inside, I'll probably just, on this one, I'm just gonna, write. Because she's having some surgery. But isn't that pretty card? And that was nothing. Some little paper. That's a napkin. If you can't buy paper you want to use, check your napkin stash. I got this napkin at Meijer's. I don't know if you guys have a Meijer's. It's like a Target. It was over in there by their card section. And I thought it was really, really pretty. I look for cards everywhere I go. Grocery stores have them, or napkins, sorry. I look for napkins wherever I go. Grocery stores, and even hardware stores I've looked at, the thrift stores, party stores. If you have a party store around you, that's a really good one to get napkins at. Your Dollar Tree, of course, stuff like that. Okay, so we have that one. So this one I'm going to use that tablecloth. Now, see how much thinner that is? When it is this thin, because that was a really thin paper to begin with on here, and so it was really thin. So I'm going to use my glue stick instead for this. Otherwise, your glue might show through. First, we're going to do the same thing. I've got the same A2 card base, and this time I got some pretty yellow to put on there, just in time for Easter, right? I didn't really do many Easter projects this year. I have, been going through an awful lot of medical stuff with my daughter. I've been kind of taking care of her and stuff, and I really didn't have a lot of time to be thinking about Easter projects this year. Okay, we'll put that down. Then let me grab my parchment paper so I can put some glue stick on the back. This will help because you see me do this. I like using my glue stick in journals. And so I just like to go around the edges really good. Make sure I get the edges. And then, but this way your glue lines will not show. You can definitely use tape, but to me, tape is kind of expensive because look how that curls. It's so thin. Now let's see which way my bunny's going to go here. I guess it don't really matter. The banner reads Happy Easter that way, so we're going to do that. And we're going to get it as close as we can when it's curling on me, so it's harder to deal with. I'm going to go with it. And because my hands are a little sticky from the glue stick, let's lay that down. Okay, let's wipe my hands off a little bit here. Okay. from a tablecloth. Look at that pretty card. We're not done yet. I just quickly did this on my Cricut. I just made an egg shape. We are going to use our foam tape here and put some on the back. Just look around your house. Like you can make things out of almost anything. I mean, who'd have thought that you take this tablecloth here, and there's a ton of that on there. You take that tablecloth and you turn that tablecloth into a beautiful card. Okay, get this off. We're gonna put this right. Well, I don't want to cover that Happy Easter, the pendant. Well, I guess it don't matter because I made a Happy Easter. Yeah, I like it in the middle better. So, sorry, Chicky Poo. I got to get rid of your little banner. I know you're doing a good job holding it up. Okay. Now, I picked this up at Hobby Lobby. That's a think. Hobby Lobby, guys. I got it at Hobby Lobby. Okay. I want to be careful because I'm going to have these all over. And I'm just going to put these throughout. They already have dots on them there. So, I'm going to use those dots to kind of position some of these little sequins, just to kind of make it look like a 3D, a little more 3D here. Oh my gosh, I don't want them, I could spill them all over, you know I would. Okay, let's just sprinkle some out. And I have a little tool here somewhere. Probably not right now because, you know, yes, I'm redoing things again. All right. I want a purple one. We got light pink. That's a bad one. I'm trying to break some apart here so I can. Okay, so I'm going to put there, and it doesn't have to be the color that's there, which I'm not going to. And I want one of these purples. First we'll grab a yellow since it's stuck to me anyways. And I just put them right over. Okay, a couple more. Got a little dot there we can do. And let's just make it, I'm going to kind of balance it out, so we'll make a little dot over here. What color didn't we use? I think we didn't use the pink one, did we? This is the pink one. Goodness sakes. I do have a pick-me-up tool thing, but who knows where that is right now. All right, and just like that, we have a cute little Easter card with not much work. Okay, isn't that cute? It still has sequins stuck to me. Beautiful. It will come off. Get off me. All right, let's move that. I'm going to need my... So we're going to pretend, let's use this one. We are going to make a pocket for a journal. I'm just going to kind of cut this out a little bit. Just let me get that. I'll get some of this excess off here. This side of the napkin I know is straight, because that was just straight part of the napkin. So I'm going to do it. Let's see if we can get about a 5-inch. It doesn't really matter. And I'll tell you, when you're cutting the freezer paper and napkin, either do it with scissors, or if you have a rotary cutter, like this one's got the rotary blade on, if you use a blade like that the Cricut has, that can tear up your napkin. I've done that. So I like to use my little rotary one. And I didn't get my napkin there, so I'm going to go back in just a second. All I'm trying to do is kind of, well, that can stay on there because I'm going to be cutting that down. All right, let's see how big my paper is here. Now I'm gonna have to hand fold because I left my scoreboard upstairs because I wasn't going to make a pocket, but then I thought I'll make you guys a pocket. Then all I would do is score up about a 1/2 inch. This isn't like really pretty, you know, but sometimes you do what you have to do. I wasn't even going to do this. I was just going to do the 2 cards and that was it. But so on 3 sides, you just want to go about a 1/2 inch, score about a 1/2 inch. I still want to take some more off the top. Okay. I mean, we're just winging it here. Okay, now you would have, you can see where you would score. And then we're going to take this corner out down here. We don't need that corner, so we're going to go on an angle. I'll show you like that. Doesn't matter how much, I just cross right over there. So it just gives you these 2. Okay, and then we're going to fold that back up and hope we're somewhat, you know, straight. Now we're going to pretend this is my book page, right? Like your book would go, your page would go like this. You know, you'd fold over. I think I cut it about perfect too. And then you could glue that down. This is really winging it, guys. This was not in my plan. But you can, this is, like I said, this is a really pretty napkin. You want to add it to your journal. This is how you can add it to your junk journals. And then we're just going to lay it down. Don't worry, I'll probably be saving this and putting it in with my junk journal stuff and use it whenever I do. And there you have a pocket for your journal by using a napkin. Can you believe those are both napkins? Isn't that pretty? I just love this napkin. So there is some ideals you can do. Let me push this aside. Okay. Using some freezer paper. Simple. And this was the only size they had too. So 75 feet, and it's, how wide is this? 18 inches wide. I'm like, oh my God, you don't have something smaller? I don't need this much. I don't use it as much anymore. I mean, I suppose I can, because I have, you know, the regular freezer bag things that I use that you suck the air out of. Yeah, you know what those are called. So I really don't use freezer paper besides crafting. And like I said, experiment with whatever you have. You know what, I mean, whatever material you have laying around. You can use any napkin. You can even use the napkins from like McDonald's. And I know one of my restaurants has those kind of brownish tan napkins. So if you want some like tan colored pockets for your junk journal, then use those napkins. You can use anything. Again, that's the tablecloth. That's my tissue paper. See what it did to the snowflakes, by the way? Because here the snowflakes are kind of like translucent. But look, now look how pretty they look because they're backed in a white. So see the difference in that? Fabric, you know, of course, was, if you have old patterns, you can back them because they're just as thin and use them in your junk journals. So fabric, and this would make a really cute card for a boy or a girl. You know, girls like dinosaurs too. So that would make a really cute card. You can use that paper to match their birthday theme. So you can even use this to make the invitations out of. Use the freezer wrap, make the invitations. This can go on the front of your invitation. So you can do a lot of things with that. And then, of course, you've seen the tablecloth, which I thought was really cool. I wasn't sure if that was going to work, if it was going to get too hot for it, but it worked perfectly as long as you make sure you put that parchment paper over the top. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I will link the Mod Podge video for you so you can kind of see and judge which one you like. But this is another easy way to use up your napkins. And it was so quick to do that. I mean, it didn't take no time at all to iron it on, and it stays on. I mean, it's on there good, you know. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment below, please. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.